Keller Williams Freedom, and this is Fabulous Neighbors of Colorado, where we feature local businesses and entrepreneurs. And I'm so lucky I'm sitting with Alisha Baty. She is the mortgage lady, branch manager of the mortgage lady. So, what got you into the mortgage business?
I just, I kind of ended up in it, and it sucks you in, and it's really amazing. Mm-hmm. But I started in it because my husband was in the military, and I was like, I need a job these hours. And so this lady said, okay, I have a job these hours. And I was like, great. And I show up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? But I learned to love it, and it was just an immediate fit for me.
Yeah.
And so I've just grown over the past, over 15 years, and I just love it. I love the puzzle pieces of a loan, and I love the ability to really help people, because my passion and belief is that the only way for most Americans is to home ownership and real estate. And if you can't build wealth through that, then there's a chance that you may never build wealth and sustainability.
Yeah.
So that's my passion, and that's why I keep doing it.
Yeah. I think that's interesting that you like the puzzle and making it all work, because there is no one size fits all.
No. Nope, unfortunately, it's not like the online applications, and that's what always scares me about some of these online brokers is, you go online, you pick an application, it's really about trying to clean it up and make it kind of look good and know what you're doing, and you have to know what you're doing to be able to do it in this world right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You gotta be quick.
Yes.
Yeah. So what type of loans do you offer?
So I specialize in creative financing, whether it's VA, FHA, conventional, jumbo, non-conforming, such as they're called non-QM nowadays, but basically like bank statement programs, or I really can't do this, but if we did this, we could do that. Mm-hmm. So just special circumstance loans, and how can we be creative to get it done? Yeah. Versus, fitting in a box like most lenders.
Sure. No, that's great. Do you do down payment assistance?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Because a lot of people don't realize there are programs out there that can help you.
Yeah, and I actually have a whole worksheet built around it. So you kind of go we call it client space. Okay. So any client space. So if you're a first-time home buyer VA and you want it, then we're going to compare different loans for you. Mm-hmm. But if you're a first-time home buyer down payment program, that's a client space. And so I'm going to compare. We have a whole program built around education.
That's great.
But we have it so you can see the difference. If I took a down payment program, this is what it looks like. If I don't take a down payment program, what are some minimum downs that we could, work on? And so I always tell people, if you can come up with 3.5% down, you and I will figure out how to come up with the rest of it through sellers, through lender credits, whatever we can do to make it happen, we're going to do. So my goal is to come up with the buyer and come up with a plan, you call it purchase plan or flight plan, and figure out how they're going to get to their goals. And so they are laid out. So whether it's a year, they're buying in a year or 2 years or 5 years, I want them to be on a plan.
Yeah, no, that's great. So what is this Offer Ready program that you offer? It's
okay,
really cool.
So I love my Offer Ready program. Yeah. What we want to do is get buyers ready to make an offer on a home. And so as you know, the market's a little bit tough sometimes. It's like you have to win out multiple offers. And so a lot of people think the only way to look good is to put more money down or go conventional or go cash. Mm-hmm. But really, you don't have to. So what we did is we came up with this Offer Ready program. So we do the whole loan up front. Okay. So, we pre-qual, then we pre-approve, then we Offer Ready. So we actually, as good as I think I am, which I think I'm great, I don't give money. Right? I'm not the underwriter. I don't actually give you any money. So you really want to be approved by the person giving you money. Mm-hmm. So what I do is we get through it. So when we're 75% of the way done when you go make an offer. So instead of saying, hey, seller, I'm pre-approved, this is what we want to offer, you're like, I'm approved, I can close in 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah. And I can get it done. And so the sellers are like, wow, that's a motivated buyer. They're serious. They can close fast. And so it just makes it very, very enticing to the listing agent.
Right. And as a realtor, I can absolutely say
yes,
it makes a difference. And sometimes I've beat other offers just because we can be quick. We've done all of the homework up front. There should not be any surprises. We've shown we are super serious. So I think it's a great program.
Yeah.
And especially in this market, we got to do what we got to do. I mean, it's crazy out there.
Yeah, and so part of the offer ready program is being able to shop banks too. So if something does come up with the property, like it's a little off or something, you know, we can maybe switch lenders, switch appraisals, things like that help the transaction.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the other reason to go offer ready, is to make sure that you're able to beat anything that's going to get thrown at you.
Yeah. So what do you feel makes you different than others in this industry?
Well, first of all, always creative financing.
Yeah.
Because if it can
That's
be done, I can do it. Then the second thing the second thing is the offer ready program.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't do it.
That's great.
And if they do it, they definitely don't do it as thorough as us. I have yet to see somebody beat us out on that program.
Okay.
Then the third thing is like we're really good at educating clients. You know, we really want to help them, and we're in it for the client. So we're going to show them different choices. We're going to help them. We're going to show, you know, from a first time, you know, buyer packet all the way to closing. There's educations. We don't hide numbers. You know, so that's a big thing I feel like in this industry, is making sure you can find somebody that you can trust.
Yeah.
And who's in it for the buyer and not in it for the transaction, you know. So
Absolutely.
we're not always going to cookie cutter a loan. It may not be the lowest rate that's the best rate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it may not be paying more. It may be paying less. It may be upfront mortgage insurance. So we want to talk through goals, and we're more of a planner
Mm-hmm.
than a transaction bank.
Yeah.
Kind of, I guess would be a good comparison.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that's really great, and it's thorough, and you know, you can reach her outside of normal business hours. It's not Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 or 9 to 5. I don't know what they are these days, you know, because we're house shopping on the weekend.
Right. And so it is important to be able to say, like, okay, we need an offer, I need a pre-qual letter, I need you to call the listing agent. You know, we need some advocacy on the weekends as well.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I always try to tell people up front, like, let's slow down up front and get the program done. So that when we're out being, like, aggressive and serious.
Right.
And it really does help the process.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, and I have kids, so I'm like, I like the flexibility of not having to work 8 to 5 as well. So it kind of works out for me and for you and for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what should we look forward to in 2020? Any big changes that we should be aware of, or?
Well, that's going to be an interesting thing. So everybody's kind of talking about a recession in 2020.
I don't know. We'll see.
See, and I think there's so many definitions of what a recession really is.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely not going to be a housing recession.
Right. It's not what it was in 2008.
Right.
I think that's where people are mixed up.
They're going back to the housing crisis and things like that. It's not going to be like that at all. We have too many buyers.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have enough inventory. It's nearly impossible. I mean, anything's possible, but if you look at the numbers, you know, our buyers are down here. Our houses are down here. Our buyers are up here. So we still need houses. We're still selling.
Mm-hmm.
Jobs are still moving. We're in a great market. Colorado Springs is one of the top markets to live in and the top markets to grow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know, isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. It's
I love
exciting
it
that we're a part of it.
So it'll be fun to see the growth. The rates are going to stay low.
Good.
That's the anticipation. I mean, no crystal ball, but rates are tending to stay low. You know, I'm right now, 3.5 to 4.5 through all programs is pretty dang good.
That is great.
So, and I anticipate them kind of staying lower through the year. We'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a good kind of indication of 2020. You're going to see some good house values still. You know, you're going to see some, great rates. So it's going to be a pretty stable market. Do you think that the housing inventory is changing at all?
No, it depends on the price point, I should say. So if you're above 300 right now, we're seeing a little bit of a shift, kind of a more even playing field. But that 300 and below, we are still literally on the phone making calls. Who has something, please? And we're all still searching. So I think that'll carry on. I think maybe in the spring, even those higher price points will be crazy again. But it has quieted a little bit on the 300 and above. So
Good. Well, and that's what I've been working with buyers too, is like, okay, if you're at that 275 range, what does it look like to go to 310? Like, you can get, to me, I feel like it's that night and day different house.
Yeah.
And you're talking about a $50 a month more payment.
Right.
Some people don't realize how much the purchase price doesn't change the payment.
Yeah.
And so looking at what a house that you're not having to overbid or pay for that house would look like, and still keeping you at a really good payment. So we've been helping educate buyers, trying to show them, you know, maybe some different ways to look at it than just, hey, you're at 250, go find a house.
Yeah,
So.
well, I think they think of their car, and when you go a couple thousand up, it really makes a huge difference. But this is 30 years, not 4, 5, 6 years. So something, and she's absolutely right, something to consider, you know, if you're struggling in that and you're comfortable moving up a little bit, just ask her and say, hey, well, what would an extra 10,000 do to me?
Yeah.
Not much.
And, you know, especially, you know, if you're looking at putting 10 to 20% down, there's really good programs to do where we can get rid of mortgage insurance and save you the $150, $200 a month.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
so you get more house.
So you can get more house and still be comfortable. So that's where creative financing and mortgage financial planning comes in, and so we can get what you want, but still take the most investment for your money.
Yeah.
And get the best outcome later on, because if you're stuck in that house, I say stuck, but if you get stuck is the worst case scenario, right? You're stuck in a house that you maybe you grew out of or something like that. So we want to make sure you're going to be stuck in a house that you're going to love and be happy with. So that's kind of how I look at it with the financial side.
Absolutely. Well, thank you
Thanks.
so much for taking the time with us today. We'll definitely have Alicia's information in the description below so you can reach out to her. And if you would like to be featured, go ahead and make a comment in the description below and I will reach out to you. Remember who to call for all of your fabulous real estate and mortgage needs. Make it a fabulous day.